Welcome back to College Football Addiction. Maybe the best bowl of bowl season, and one that Drake Toll is very happy about the way that it ended. I can't say that I'm too upset either. Iowa State beats Miami in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Our video today presented by BetUs. Drake, this was an offensive explosion to start the game.
Yeah, it was. And my biggest takeaway here, to be honest with you, TJ, is Miami fans that are crying and moaning that, if Cam Ward played the entire game, then Miami would have had a shot to win this or would have won this game by 14 points. And, Cam Ward didn't play the entire game. The rhetoric on Twitter, you'll see in social media, has gone crazy over this. They're right. Coaches have talked about it. Players have talked about it. What kind of athlete, what kind of player, what kind of teammate goes out for a half and then in the middle of the game says, you know what, I'm done. I'm good. There were rumors, too, that Cam Ward would only play one quarter, and maybe he tried to extend that by playing a half. And are you asking us to look upon you favorably because you played longer than you expected? Or you trying to say that, you didn't even have to play. You're doing a service to your teammates and to the fan base by playing in this game. Cam Ward was coward Ward, for lack of a better, in this game, because what kind of guy puts your team in a position to win? Truly, Miami was in a position to win at halftime and says, you know what? Even in the late game situation, I'm going to hang it up. I'm good. I don't want to get hurt. Colorado I can guarantee you, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter will be drafted higher than Cam Ward. They've got a whole lot more to play for than Cam Ward. And those two guys played 4 quarters on an insurance policy, no doubt. The fact that I wish I could celebrate Iowa State more. We'll talk about the Pop-Tart aspect of this, Iowa State being dominant on offense and Miami being terrible on defense. But the one thing I keep going back to, as somebody who played even junior high football out there, I don't understand how a human person, an athlete, can look their teammates in the eyes and say, I'll play a half. If you sit out, sure, everybody does that. Okay, fine. But the fact he played one half of football and then gave up, pitiful.
Players can do whatever they want, right? And I support a team where nearly all of the team opted out last year. I really have no problem with an opt-out. That is not a big deal to me. If you and you can say, I was getting ready for the NFL, or these guys were a little banged up and didn't want to keep going, or they did it in protest of the way that things went down for FSU. I don't care. Whatever your reasoning is, that is totally fine. But the idea of coming out at halftime is ludicrous to me. I cannot stand to lose at anything. Here's a story. Nobody tuned in for this, but you're getting it anyway. I was at a vacation Bible school with my kids and watched my kids lose a tug of war, and I couldn't handle it. And I got in on the next round and pulled those little 7-year-olds until they lost, and we won. And that just the competitor in you says, no, I can't do this. And again, does he have a lot to risk? Absolutely. I think he's a first-round pick. He's one of the better quarterbacks out there. I get it. But you're telling me that you could look your teammate, just like you said, you could look your teammates in the eye, especially if they wanted to get a look at Emory, they wanted to see their back, whatever. I don't buy into that BS anyway. But even if that was the case, you're telling me with 56 seconds left, with the crowd, the Miami fans that don't go to anything, the crowd that was there in Orlando, Florida, chanting, "We want Cam," he wouldn't go out for that last drive and get them. Listen, Iowa State fans, don't yell at me for this. They needed about 25 yards, right? Borregales is a great kicker.
Yeah.
And some of those guys were running wide open in the secondary against Iowa State, and Emory Williams just doesn't have it. I don't think he's their quarterback next year. If he is, they're in a lot of trouble. Cam Ward, I think they would have won the game if he goes in that last drive. I think they win the game. I think they get 30 yards. They get in field goal range, and they probably have a shot to win it with a kick. And the sideline view of him is just him holding his shoulder pads like, nah, dog, I'm good. That is unthinkable to me. Yeah, I cannot imagine a competitor doing that.
I hate this for Iowa State, right?
I'll get right back to the video, but first, want to give some love to BetUs. You can use our code YouTube150 for a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. You get 125% on your next 2 deposits. All of that up to $2,000. Whether you're betting on the college football playoff, bowl season, the NFL, NBA, NHL, whatever you want to bet on, they will get you taken care of. Again, YouTube 150 gets you that bonus. Appreciate BetUs.
This is the headline, but after 11 wins, huge for Matt Campbell, huge for that program. Again, just to see the kid didn't even take his shoulder pads off at halftime. He just stayed. He gave everybody the impression that he might go back in the game. If I'm an NFL scout, if I'm an NFL GM, I see that, and I see that, and then I look at a guy like Tom Brady, who stories have come out about him begging to stay in 30-point blowouts because it's his team, he's the captain, his ship. He wants to paint this picture, he wants to write this story. And then I look at this kid and I just say, okay, that's not the competitor that I want. And I wish for Iowa State that Cam Ward would have played the entire game and that Iowa State would have beaten them so that this wasn't the narrative. I think either way, Iowa State is still in the game when Cam Ward was out there, still could have won the game because the defense for Miami is Swiss cheese. And I really want to give a ton of credit to Matt Campbell, despite the storylines being so much about Cam Ward. It kind of goes both ways. I understand why America's talking about Ward and his decision, but Iowa State, who got to eat the Pop-Tart at the end, that's the ultimate prize to win this bowl game.
Yeah, last thing on Ward, I think it makes it look even worse that down by 25, 30 points, Shedeur Sanders is still out there. Travis Hunter was still out there in their bowl game that literally happened. You didn't even have to turn the channel. It was on the same exact network. The game after, you saw those guys fighting their butts off, down by so many points late in the fourth quarter, never coming out, never quitting, never giving up. And this guy had a chance to go win it. And that to me speaks volumes. And so as bad as it was during the Miami-Iowa State game, I think what happened in the next game made it look even worse. Yep. All right, on Iowa State, again, sorry to the Iowa State fans that we let off with that. But Iowa State, though, still had to go get it done. They got stopped. I think Miami got 3 stops in a row, 1 to end the first half and then 2 to start the second half. And they stopped, things did slow down for Iowa State at one point, and Miami was able to build a bit of a lead. Iowa State, though they were facing a backup quarterback, bowed up against the run. They did a better job of reestablishing their offense. And shoot, Iowa State could have still lost this game had they not. They were down 6. They still had to go win it. And so, yes, much as Ward is the headline, Iowa State still went out against a team that is more talented. I know their defense is Swiss cheese. A team that is more talented than you would say Iowa State is. They still went out and took this thing, and they won by 1 point because they didn't opt out, I guess.
Yeah, I said that on my show, TJ, and it rings true. I hope Iowa State fans don't take it the wrong way, but Miami players looked at this little team from Iowa and said, "You think us in the big city in the bright lights of Miami that are recruiting, you think that we're going to lose to a bunch of kids from Iowa?" That is the rhetoric inside of a Hurricanes team or inside of a Hurricanes program that doesn't respect Iowa State. And that's, look, if you're a 22-year-old wideout, you're probably thinking the same thing. Iowa State? What do you? I play for the U. And it makes it even tougher for Miami to get just beaten down by Carson Hansen, who every time he touches the ball is just a bowling ball, or Rocco Beck, who runs the ball with such fervor, such passion, and then Abu Sama. Even though Jaden Higgins didn't play this game, Jalen Knoll stepping up, having 8 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. You're looking at NFL talent for Iowa State that stepped up, and some of these guys, Abu Sama, Rocco Beck, Carson Hansen, will have opportunities to come back and play for Iowa State long term because they have so much eligibility left. This was offensively a beatdown, a boat race, a classic Big 12 game for Iowa State, who got it done on that side of the football. And while their defense had plenty of holes, you can't give, it's all the credit in the world. You can't give enough credit to the offense and Rocco Beck for leading his team to go win this game late.
Yeah, the way that they played down the stretch, knowing they had a shot. I mean, even with that, right? I still kind of thought Ward would come in on that last drive. And I would say, even with knowing that, man, that was a possibility, they still went out and took it, and they stepped up when they had to.
My favorite. Had Cam Ward come off the bench and thrown an immediate interception, that's the only thing that could have made this game better.
Slightly better for Iowa State. Big picture for the Cyclones now. Becht is young. They've got some talent. You know their roster much better than I do. What's the outlook for them?
Huge. Oh my gosh. I love them. They brought back 21 starters this year, most of their production from the offense and the defense. While that number won't be the same next season whatsoever, they still have enough pieces on the offensive line and in the trenches overall to be darn good. They've already brought in 2 transfer portal wide receivers to replace Jalen Knoll and Jaden Higgins. They're going to reload a roster that was a game away, a play away from a Big 12 title. I say a play away from being in a better spot in that Big 12 championship with another win, and an opportunity to go to the college ball playoff. You're a game away. So that coming back next year, Rocco Beck, Carson Hansen, the 2 wide receivers out of the portal, and Abu Sama. I think everybody should look at Iowa State as an immediate contender, top 3 team in the Big 12. No doubt going into next season.
I was somewhat considering just getting up and walking away halfway through this interview as a kid that supports the ACC, but I didn't, just so that we could get through it. But Drake, where can people follow you? Where can they find more of your work?
Yeah, at LO Big 12 or at Drake C. Toll on Twitter or wherever you find your podcasts at Locked On Big 12. If you're a Miami fan, don't find me at all, please.
Or just watch the first half of every video and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Drake, thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciated, enjoyed, loved, or hated our video today, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of our content. Again, appreciate BetUs for their support. We will talk to you soon on College Football Addiction.